Welcome into the official. On this week's show, we are going to do our first mock draft for a hypothetical 2024 freshman mock. So, about a year out, we are going to do a mock. Already, David and Matt are going to give their picks for the top two rounds. And what the plan is now, I think we're going to do this more periodically throughout the year, keep track of kind of our own ADP changes, keep track of who's rising, who's falling. We have talked about that on other shows, but at least this time, maybe we'll keep an actual database and be able to specifically say, hey, this guy dropped from the 101 to the 106 or what have you. So, stay with us. This is the first installment, but we're going to keep doing this throughout the year, give you guys something to follow along to each month, probably have a new iteration in some way of a mock draft. And so join us. This is the first mock for the 2024 class on the official. All right, boys, here we go. 2024, we've talked about a few names. I know y'all have dug in, and I think we feel pretty good about running a mock draft already. It's only April, 18th? So almost a year ahead of when people might be doing the 2024 actual freshman drafts. But you guys have been already so deep into the class, you feel good about doing a mock right now.
Yeah, I mean, deep enough, I'd say, for 2 rounds for sure. Maybe a little bit deeper
24
if we
players.
wanted to, but
not too bad. Yeah, that's not bad. And, honestly, we have landing spots for most of the guys that will probably be selected tonight. So it's crazy how I think the early signing day has just totally sped up the whole process. And 2024 is almost already looking, somewhat intact, at least at the high end for most of these players. So I just arbitrarily picked Matt to go first. We're going to go alternating picks, Matt, David, all the way through to the top 2 rounds. Leave a comment, or if you want to chime in our Campus to Canada Discord, tell us who you think won this draft. And if you're not familiar with the names, now's a great time to start getting familiar with these names. They are at the top end of the 2024 freshman class. And some people will come in there, crash the party. But, I mean, for the most part, I think a lot of these guys may shuffle order, but the names will still be very relevant a year from now. And we'll see how they change over the next few months in terms of order. Speaking of which, for Campus to Canton, following along in the Discord, if you become a member, you can get access to that Discord. And we have everything that you need from the, college side fantasy football all the way to the NFL side of fantasy football, whatever you play, whether it's college fantasy, redraft, C2C, where you manage both sides and carry players from one side to the next, dynasty fantasy football, Devy fantasy football, everything, every format, we have content for you. And here on the official, though, we focus on that rookie class, so to speak, of the college fantasy side, which is your freshman, which is the incoming freshman. And so we've wrapped up 2023. We have the 2023 freshman guide out, available for your purchase at campustocanta.com. And then we also have memberships for you, starting as low as $2.99 a month. And, going up from there, depending on what kind of goodies that you want in your package for your membership. But this is about 2024. So these names will be at the top of that 2024 freshman guide when they come out. Matt and David, are you guys ready to give us the names of your favorite 24 players in the class?
Yep.
Ready to go.
David looks nervous. David's nervous. All
Not
right.
prepared. I'm kind of winging it, but we'll figure it out.
So you got the 102, so you have a moment. Matt, do you want to give us your 101 for the 2024 freshman class?
Yeah, so this is relatively easy for me. I'm going to go with Dylan Raiola, quarterback, uncommitted. It's looking like it's between Nebraska, Georgia, and USC right now. He's not my highest graded player, on just unpositionally weighed grades. But, the positional value at quarterback, it's just so much greater. The the value that you could potentially get out of a pick like this versus going who I assume Dave's going to go with, a wide receiver, who is extremely good in his own right, but I just I'd prefer to gamble on the quarterback.
No questions here. That positional scarcity, and like you said, if he pops, you can get anything you want. David, 102. You have your pick of any position player, or wide receiver, tight end, running back, or will you go another quarterback here at 102?
Yeah, I would have gone the same way as Matt there, and I also think that as of now, with the information we have now, I do think there is a pretty decent drop off after Raiola at quarterback. So I am going to take who he thinks I'm going to take. I'm going to take Micah Hudson. He's my highest graded wide receiver at the moment. Most services, I think they have him more like the second or third guy right now. But his tape just pops. He's just so explosive, insane body control. He makes like the most circus catches in this class. Just an awesome lateral mover in general, good route runner. So, yeah, I go with Micah Hudson.
I can't have any argument there. I love how I feel like we all have watched the top receivers in this class, and the three of us plus Austin, everybody agrees it's Hudson. So, I don't know what we're missing with some of these other guys, but like, I love how we all just look. We're like, yeah, he's incredible. Matt, 103.
All right, this is where it gets a bit harder. I'm going to stick with the upside of positional scarcity and go with Lagway. He had a rough season last year, not as good as people would have hoped. He still looks pretty raw in a lot of departments, but just an insane arm talent and very good plus athlete. Hopefully he goes to a good college system. Hopefully not Florida, or he decommits from Florida. That'd be great.
Don't put that evil on me.
It's definitely very much a high upside, high risk pick here.
Yeah, and I saw On 3 just recently bumped him up. It was only one spot, but I mean he rose. He didn't fall for them to the top 20 player in the class. I think it's 24/7 and ESPN that have him kind of low, or maybe it's Rivals.
It's a pretty weak quarterback class. Like after I have a clear top 4 at the moment. After that, drops off really quick. So I'm going to snag these guys, the guys I at least have some confidence in early.
Okay. And he definitely has that off-platform stuff, and he's athletic, so those are some nice things. David, 104. You're going to keep letting Matt scoop up QBs or what?
Yeah, probably. So this is weird. Like the running back class, there's like a lot of running backs that I like pretty similarly. So I just don't, and I don't feel the need to, I'm not rushing to put anyone in my tier 1 for now. I'll see what they do senior year. I'm sure someone will get to that point. So I'm just kind of like overlooking the position a little bit, and it just, I guess it brings me back to receiver. I know you guys say like receiver is not super valuable to draft early or whatever, but it's just like these are the guys I have in my tier 1 right now. So this is like an interesting decision because like all the services have Jeremiah Smith like number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me wants
getting Julio comps.
Yeah, so like part of me wants to just be like maybe they're just right, and I'm just because I do like Mylan Graham a lot too. I'll just, I'm just going to go Jeremiah Smith, and I'm going to say, like, these guys have seen them. They've seen him in camps a ton, and they've just seen him in person, and I'm going to just trust that he's, like, apparently a generational prospect, I guess. So I'll just go with him.
Yeah, we don't really agree at C2C, but that is what is being said out there. All right, Matt, you are up 105. Keep digging in that quarterback pool.
No, I was going to take whichever wide receiver David didn't take there, so I'll be taking Mylan Graham here. I think there's just a ton to like with his game. We have him graded, higher film wise at the moment. We have a very good mile per hour time on him, fast on the field too. So there's a lot to like. Super versatile player, ready to go.
All right. Mylan Graham, yeah, he looks very, very, very fast. David, 106. You've got 2 receivers. and you're not enamored with the quarterbacks, and you're not enamored with the running backs. I don't know what you're going to do here.
Yeah. Is it? I might just pick another. No, I don't know if I want to do that. I'll just go with. I'll pick a running back actually. I'm gonna go with Nathaniel Frazier actually, and he actually became the number one guy. And we talked about last week about how Jarek Gibson might get leapfrogged or whatever, but I saw him recently at one of the a picture of him at one of those camps. He got MVP at one of these Under Armour camps, and he looks absolutely jacked. So I do believe the 205 pounds that he's listed at now on there. And not to mention, he just ran like a 10.7 100 meter. Like he's got the size, speed, super efficient runner, and all around player. So I'll go with Frazier.
All right, that is a great name here for our listeners. He is the running back 8 in the composite, running back 14 on 24/7. So, you heard it here first. David's got him as his running back 1, but fairly far down the list, at least 24/7. So that's a market inefficiency potentially. Matt, 107.
I have to fight my urges to take another quarterback here. They're staring at me though.
Just collect them all, baby.
I might as well. I'm going to take Julian Sayin here, quarterback going to Alabama. I think there's a good chance he could be next up in line there. We weren't very high on Holstein or
yeah.
Why I'm blanking.
Holstein or Lonergan.
Yeah, Dylan Lonergan. Yep. We end up not being super high on either of them. I think Sayin's a significantly better talent. He's just a very poised, more of a pocket passer type, but he can move around a little bit. But very, very accurate guy though. Very pinpoint passes. Doesn't have a crazy arm, but certainly good enough to succeed at this level with some NFL upside as well.
Okay, sounds good. David Matt with 3 quarterbacks. David, you're at the 108, and you've got receiver, running back.
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep egging him on and take more quarterbacks. So I'll just go with. This has been one of my guys from the beginning. It literally just came off of one play I saw him against IMG where he broke literally like 20 tackles last year. Cameron Coleman. I don't know. I'll probably be highest on him among the C2C guys, because he's not a super refined player, but I just think he's one of the freaks of this class. 6'3.5", 185. Big frame. He'll get bigger. He'll get over 200 for sure. 6'9" frame. Tested really well in the camp settings as well. So just going to go with a guy he just made my tier 1 as receivers, and I just think he has super high potential.
Jeez, yeah. He's a 5-star on 24/7. He's a wide receiver 7, wide receiver 11 in the composite. And you said you saw him break a ton of tackles as a wide receiver, huh? So pretty impressive yak ability.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, 109.
All right, I'm going to take my first running back here in Cameron Davis, running back going to Florida State. He's a very compact, squatty running back, but he's very, very explosive, moves good laterally. Not going to kill you with the straight line speed, but I think he's going to be a very solid guy. His skill set kind of reminds me of DeAndre Swift. He's built kind of similarly too. He can do some work as a receiver, although you don't really get to see his tape since he's playing mostly Wildcat quarterback back there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a guy we'd like to see. Them give him a full running back looks as a senior maybe.
He's apparently a pretty big baseball prospect though, so there is some potential concern there.
Okay. All right, David, 110. We're in the double digits here. Who's your 10th player, top 10?
10th player. I will take I'm going to take, I don't know. I'm going to take a tight end. I don't know. That's bad, right? Strategy-wise?
Not good, according to Chris Moxley.
So this is probably, I got Chris in my corner for this one, but Landon Thomas just switched from Georgia to Florida State. And so it's been crystal ball that Jaden Riddell, who's the guy I mentioned last week, who's like 96 percentile athlete or whatever, he's getting crystal ball to Georgia, and it's just like Georgia's a tight end factory at this point. So it's just like if someone's gonna put this dude in the first round in the NFL draft or second round or whatever, it could be, it's probably Georgia. So I don't really love doing this so early, but whatever. I took Jaden Riddell.
All right, Jaden Riddell. I like it, man. It's bold and a good tight end. I mean, is worth, if turns into Brock Bowers. I wonder if that was like a push out situation. I mean, it seems so bizarre that a 5-star top recruit would voluntarily switch from Georgia to FSU. You just kind of wonder, what was Georgia telling him? If this other guy came in and they liked him better, I don't know. Just really bizarre. Unless FSU is really just the it team, which I personally don't really think so. But maybe I'm just buried my head in the sand. All right, enough of that. 111, Matt.
Give me 1 second here. I will go with Taylor Tatum, running back, uncommitted at the moment, out of Longview, Texas. He was teammates with Jalen Hale last season, actually. Super productive runner, playing 5A Texas ball or 6A, whatever their top division is. I can't recall at the moment. Very athletic guy. I believe he's only listed 195, but he's at camp
24/7 has him at 205 right now, so I don't know.
Okay, I was gonna say at camp recently they reported he gone up, so I guess they did change that now. So great size, great athleticism, very bursty player. He's also a very, very good receiver on top of it. So just a really well-rounded skill set and pro-ready frame.
Awesome. All right, David, give us the end here of the first round.
I suppose I'll take a quarterback. I'll take Aaron Noland. It's just a good fit at Ohio State. He's a pocket passer, super accurate. We talked about him last week as well. He's going to be thrown to like 2 of our favorite receivers in the class. So it's like sort of an unfailable, scenario for him. I feel like, is so long as he's like talented enough to win the job at some point, which I think he will. So I think he's a pretty safe bet.
Okay, I don't hate it at all. That's actually a pretty good call there. So the 4th quarterback taken in this draft is Aaron Noland. I will do a quick recap here. We had Dylan Raiola, QB, going uncommitted, but leaning Georgia, it seems like. Pretty much easily the top quarterback in the country, going 101. Micah Hudson, wide receiver, 102. Lagway, another quarterback who's athletic and shows a lot of that off-platform stuff, at 103. Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver, at 4. Mylan Graham, wide receiver, at 5. Nate Frazier at running back, first running back off the board, at 106. I wonder if that's going to change as I think a running back will come onto the scene and be a higher draft pick as we go on with this. Julian Sain, quarterback, at 107. Cameron Coleman, wide receiver, at 108. Cameron Davis at 109, running back, headed to FSU. Jaden Riddell, tight end, going in the top 10 here for David. Taylor Tatum, running back, going to probably Michigan, at 111. And finally, quarterback Aaron Noland rounds out the first round, just as for keeping along with us. And I'm going to change it up here. We are going to go snake draft here, just so David does get a first pick in one of the rounds. David, you are back up at 201.
I'm just going to keep hoarding receivers. He's my next highest graded player, Bryant Wesco. Undeclared at the moment, but he's really popping off this summer in a lot of these camps. Really good route runner, really good mover in general. And he's got some good track stuff. I think he's a triple jumper, long jumper. Got a pretty good MPH on him. I think he's like on the fringe of my tier 1, tier 2. I have him just inside right now. It's definitely, I don't know, just a stacked receiver class in general.
It is. We've talked about that. I mean, 24/7. If you missed it last week, folks, we talked about, or 2 weeks ago maybe, the fact that there's like 8 5-stars currently in the 2024 class, which is just absolutely bonkers on 24/7. So I doubt C2C will have 8 guys in our tier 1, but we'll see. Matt, 202, give us your next pick.
I'm going to go with Aaron Butler here. Listed athlete, probably going to play wide receiver, it seems like. Uncommitted at the moment. He's a super juiced up athlete. He's a bit skinny at the moment, 6 foot, 170-ish around there. But he's just, when you turn on the tape, you can see he's just one of these guys that just moves different. I don't think there's anybody with the movement skills of him. Nobody else in this class. Just because of how good he moves laterally.
Even Hudson and
change
Graham?
of direction. Yeah, I think his explosive movement really stands out. I've been comparing him to Xavier Worthy, just in that level of movement, which I consider to be super, super high end.
Yeah. Okay. Aaron Butler, interesting name. Hadn't even checked him out yet. Actually, hadn't gotten to the athletes just yet. At least the listed athletes. David, I guess we're at 303 here. Second round, third pick. 203. Sorry.
So I'll grab another running back. I'll go with. How about Jason Brown? I don't know. He's one of the guys that just stood out. I don't know. The services aren't super high on him right now, it doesn't seem, but he's a guy that stood out for me pretty initially. I guess he's only listed at 191 on 3. I don't know. I thought he was a little bigger than that, but hopefully he is. Hopefully he's pushing
24/7 has him at 205.
Okay, yeah, because he looks. Yeah, I don't know who to believe on that. He looks bigger than 191, but just a good player, real explosive, good change of direction. I just like the way he runs the ball. I'll just keep it short.
All right, we like it here. Moving on, Matt, 204.
I'll be going wide receiver again with Draylon Miller, another uncommitted wide receiver. I believe he's listed at 6'1", 195, 200. A really well built guy. He has a really well rounded skill set. He can go up and get the ball. We got a good mile per hour time on him. He also holds a LSU basketball scholarship offer too as well, just to show off his different athletic capabilities in other sports. And he's just a dominant yak player, dominant after the catch.
Yeah, I really like Miller. Him and Hudson actually popped the most for me so far. I'm not ready to say he is my wide receiver too, but those are two guys that I actually thought were kind of similar and looked really good. David, 205, I guess, right?
I'll go with another receiver. This is like a mini hedge because when I watched him, I was slightly disappointed. But all the services love him. I'll go with Josiah Schrader. He might be like Carnell Tate of this class, where it's like I watch him and I'm like, all right, yeah, he's pretty good or whatever. But like all the services are just in love with him, and now Carnell Tate is just like apparently amazing. So
he's on the same team as Smith, right? And, and same high school team. And I agree. I mean, both of those guys just didn't. But people love those two guys.
Yeah, Matt did the charting on. Schrader came out like relatively close to Jeremiah Smith, didn't he?
Both of them just did not turn out very great in general. They're both lower third of just general scoring.
So they're busts. All right. Well, that's fine. They're terrible. You said it. No,
I did. It's over.
All right. Okay, so I agree, though. At some point, you kind of just got to go with the services a little bit when things get a little murky. Matt, give me your 206.
I will be going with running back Kedron Young. I talked about him last week or 2 weeks ago. One of the more underrated backs in this class, except for by on 3. They have an RB8. Just a super physical back. We were able to get a good mile per hour time on him, and I think he's underrated at the moment.
Yeah, he's listed 220. We love these big running backs. And, he's like a running back 21, I think, on the composite. So, again, some of these guys, folks, you will hear us talking about them all season, and they will rise up the draft boards. And then just like some of the guys like Vandravius Jacobs, who just popped in the FSU spring game and got put on the first team rotation, We've been saying it all offseason, and then they're popping. So, guy like Kidron Young listed kind of down the line here, but we come up with these names, and they do pop early. So, David, give us another name here. 207, I think we're at.
So let me just, I'm kind of, there's a little bit of a drop off, I feel like, at receiver. There's some interesting guys, but nothing I feel like I have enough receivers at this point. So I'm going to take a glance at quarterback again and just see what we have here. The problem with this class is we still have to check the VOEs on these guys, but it looks like there's like a lot of noodles in this class. And I'm deciding between two guys right now. Luke Kromenhoek or whatever, he's actually pretty good. He is old for the class, and you can tell it is advantageous for him because he's definitely he's physically developed at this point.
Come on, you're not going to go him over.
I'm not gonna. I was just gonna say I'm not gonna take him though. I'm gonna take Walker White and just shoot.
There we go, friend of the show, Walker White.
Dude, we talked about it. He's 6'3", 225. He's got 10.25-inch hands. He's a beast. I don't know what to tell you. He's got to clean some stuff up. Whatever. He's 16, 17 years old. He'll figure it out. So I'll shoot for he's the last guy here with a really big ceiling.
Major upside. I agree. All right, Matt. 208. I think we're at.
I'll go running back Jarek Gibson here. I think it's a guy we're fading a bit. The services are much higher on him than we are. He's a good verified tested athlete. Started running back at IMG is definitely a good title to hold. So yeah, I mean we're definitely way low on him compared to the services, but I'll take him here.
I think it's a fine pick at this point. I mean, he's probably going to go to a major Power 5 school, Bama, Georgia, Tennessee, I don't know, something like that, and be a contributor right away. That's always a good asset to have. You just want to look at some check boxes. David, 209 here. We're getting to the last third of the draft.
Yeah, I'll go with a running back, and I will take let's go with Jordan Marshall. He's just another one of these well-rounded players. I just lost my. He's going to Michigan, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's the Ohio kid that I thought he might stay in state, but he decided to go to Michigan. It's a really good spot for college production for sure. But
yeah.
There's some NFL upside there too. He's just solid all around, a really solid player. I like him.
Sounds good. All right, Matt, take us home. Last quarter, 210.
All right. Picking between two guys here. How many wide receivers do I have?
Oh boy! All right, one. You only have 3.
Okay. I'll go wide receiver Mike Matthews here.
Yeah.
Services are another guy that we're a little bit lower on than the services. I think he's listed an athlete on some sites, but I think he's pretty solidly playing wide receiver in college. There were some things I didn't like about his game that made him drop him down a bit, but he's definitely a high upside guy. Someone that some scouts have been raving about. So I like his upside this late in the 2-rounder here.
All right, David, take us home not take us home. 211, getting there though.
I'll go with he's listed as an athlete, Terry Bussey. I don't know if that's how you say it. Bussey maybe. I mean, he's pretty freaky. I think Alfred, you brought him up initially in the Slack about some of his basketball highlights. You can just see how explosive. Just based off those highlights, I was like, oh, that's kind of like Jalen Waddle, like how athletic he is, and the similar size and all that. So, I don't know how well he's maybe more of a gadgety receiver, but if he goes to the right spot that uses him correctly, he could be really productive.
Cool. All right, that's a good one, Bussey. Matt, your call, your floor, man.
I'll be going with Landon Thomas, tight end, Florida State here.
Okay,
Another
we got
90th percentile athlete at tight end. I could argue he's probably more pro ready at this point than someone like Riddell, but I like Riddell more as well. But I think this is good value getting him here, late end of the second, and I think he has a similar upside to someone like Riddell. So, yeah, good value, I think.
Okay, rounding it out with a tight end. I love it. We got 2 tight ends in the top, 24 players. I like that. I think we've talked about this before. I think tight end is an area that gets really overlooked, especially on the recruiting side of things. And you land a big one, and it is a nice asset to have on your fantasy side. Just to recap, I'm just going to read off the names of the second round. It's not a long video. Watch the first half if you want to hit the first round. We got Wesco, wide receiver, Butler, wide receiver, Brown, running back, Miller, Trader, wide receivers, back-to-back there. Then we had Young, running back, Walker White, friend of the show, quarterback going in the mid-second round here. Gibson, Marshall, 2 running backs, Matthews, Bussey, 2 wide receivers, and then finishing it out with tight end Thomas, now going to FSU, but a 5-star tight end. You love to see it. Of note, before we wrap up here, there's a few people ranked very high that did not make it even into our top 2 rounds here. One of those is Ryan Wingo, a wide receiver who's like the wide receiver 2, I think, on 24/7. We don't even draft him in the top 2 rounds here. We have some running backs in the top 10, James Peoples, Dwight Phillips, who's listed at 170, so he's really small. Kevin Riley, and Dylan Jones, 2 other top 10 running backs who did not make our cut here. And then quarterbacks, a 5-star Jaden Davis, Elijah Brown, CJ Carr. These guys are top 5 quarterbacks, did not make the cut for us. But of course, our lens is fantasy. And so we're going to prioritize, dual threat. We're going to prioritize upside here. And those guys are kind of pocket passers. But I think it's interesting based on 24/7 rankings, even in our top 2 rounds, some pretty highly ranked guys didn't make the cut for us. So, that just goes to show you how we look at players a little differently and things like that. I think it's a great idea. We've tossed around this idea before. We're going to keep doing these things. Track movement. I think some running backs should probably move up because at the end of the day, if we can identify a bell cow running back and they get a good offer and things like that, I could see guys really start shuffling up the board on the running back side. But yeah, I think this is going to be a nice thing to follow along with us throughout the whole cycle. So I think good idea. Matt actually is the one who suggested it. I think this is great. So we'll keep doing these mocks. But for now, this has been The Official. Thanks, guys.